Few atmospheres are more welcoming to step into than a well-run school. The whole building feels warm and welcoming. Students want to be there. They walk in the door curious and excited about their day. It's somewhere they get to go, not a thing they have to do. And the staff has a shared sense of purpose. It creates a whole vibe of cooperation, teamwork, sacrifice, and joy. That's why you chose education as your occupation. You want a career with meaning and importance. We all want that vibe. If not at your school, you probably felt it during your college years. That feeling that everyone around you is there to better themselves. But unfortunately, as you know, many schools don't have that feeling. Sometimes you walk in a building and it feels quite the opposite. That can become places we have to go, not places we want to be a part of. The staff looks frustrated and grim. It feels more like an institution. Cold, unwelcoming, somewhere you want to leave. And many teachers will. These buildings will have high turnover amongst teaching staff. The vibe isn't right. So what's the difference? What makes one building a warm and welcome environment and another one that feels not great? Behavior management. That first situation we described is a good school because the first priority was to become a safe and orderly school. So behavior management is a plan or set of actions that administrators and teachers can utilize to ensure students have an optimal learning environment. In other words, what conditions must be met in order for the learning to happen. Now, what needs to happen or not to happen to create those conditions? How do you make your school safe? What do you need in your plan to create a school climate we all want? How can you make your school a place where students want to learn and staff want to teach? So we put together 10 concepts that you need to add to your plan. Number 1, PBIS. Consider implementing a school-wide positive approach to behavior in your building. By setting clear expectations, progress monitoring, and rewarding the desired behaviors, you can improve school culture and discipline drastically. Number 2, supervision. At the minimum, you need to have eyes and ears in every hallway. Your teachers need to be outside of the rooms during class changes, practicing active supervision by interacting with students. Special attention needs to be taken to provide support for key touch points during the school day, such as arrival, lunch, and dismissal. For a more aggressive fix, you can even consider creating hallway sweep teams to clear the hallways and restrooms after class changes. Number 3, building logistics. All schools are the same in some ways. They all have many of the same basic components: offices, classrooms, gyms, playgrounds, auditoriums, cafeterias, libraries. But in that same breath, they all have their own unique characteristics. Some have one floor, some have two, one gym, two gyms. Some are shaped like a rectangle, some shaped like a square, some have courtyards, athletic fields, locker rooms. You get the idea. All those unique design features create the need for unique and creative supervision plans. I once worked in a school shaped like a pentagon that had a courtyard in the center. That center could be accessed from all sides and was used to commute between classes. It's a very cool feature, but it's also one that requires some creative thinking on your supervision plan. Number 4, code of conduct. You should take a look at your student code of conduct every year. Make sure it aligns with your PBIS expectations and that you update it for the kids you are serving. For instance, if your code of conduct doesn't mention cell phones, it's probably time you reviewed it. Number 5, in-school suspension. In my experience, even the most well-run, positive buildings still need some form of behavioral support where a student has to be removed from class at times. Now, how this looks can vary widely. My suggestion is make this a solution-oriented process. I prefer my staff member in this room to almost like a counselor. This needs to be a common space where the student can find answers and solutions to the problems. Thanks sheets can be helpful here. We want them to own their behavior, take responsibility for their actions, and find a way to repair any relationships that might have been strained in the process. Number 6, communication. How does your admin team and support staff communicate? I worked in a large high school where each member of the team had a radio and an earpiece. We had radio protocols and codes we used to respond to issues and get help where it was needed. This is probably over the top for most, but we needed it, and your school might. You be the judge on how best to support your school. One thing we gave all staff that I think could be helpful is a short list of code words that they could call or email so we knew how to respond in a situation. A disrespectful student requires a different approach than an active altercation. Possible contraband or a student under influence requires a different approach as well. Think through the issues that a staff member has to call for help on, then categorize those so your team can respond appropriately. You want to alleviate the issue with the least disruption to the learning environment possible. Number 7, restorative practices. Consequences matter. I want consequences to apply directly to the situation if all possible. I want those consequences to deter those future offenses. I want the consequences to help repair the situation or the relationship. Providing restorative practices training can help your staff with all of those. Number 8, classroom management. Most referrals come from the classroom setting. Many of those could be reduced with quality classroom management. The professional in the room matters a great deal. They set the standard and provide structures that allow the kids to be successful. Number 9, leadership structure. Who handles what types of issues? Who has jurisdiction over what group of kids? A clear organizational structure can help to ease the burden off your team and help create relationships where they are needed. Number 10, redirection training. Your staff's response to minor infractions is important. Does a staff member intervening correct the behavior or escalate the behavior? I suggest considering resources around the 5 R's: relationships, respect, responsibility, repair, and reintegration. This is obviously not an all-inclusive list, but it is a place to start brainstorming ideas on how to make your school a safe and orderly place. The summer or break is a great time to take a hard look at how we can improve. As you review your plans or draft new ones, always remember your goal in designing behavior management protocols. What conditions must be met in order for the learning to happen? Keep your plan centered around that. Keep the main thing the main thing. By doing so, you will create a safe, warm, and welcome environment in which your kids can thrive and your staff can excel.